Azeroth, a world that has been torn apart by hate, conflict, and war for thousands of years. A world that consists of vast landscapes, massive cities, mythical creatures, non-stop battles, and forces that threaten to end any and all life that attempts to keep the world stable. The World of Warcraft, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, was released to the general public of the United States on November 23, 2004, and since then has had over 12 million players worldwide. World of Warcraft has created a phenomenally large fan base and has become a part of mainstream popular culture.
I am socializing, Artard. I'm logged on to an MMORPG with people from all over the world and getting XP with my party using TeamSpeak.
Every year, Blizzard, the second largest video game development company, holds BlizzCon, in which hundreds of loyal fans attend, dress up with costumes, and eagerly wait to see what is going to be new with World of Warcraft and other Blizzard titles. The land in which World of Warcraft takes place has an extensive amount of lore that Blizzard uses as content to create the game. Players pay $15 a month to create characters from creatures such as night elves, dwarves, orcs, gnomes, trolls, humans, and tauren. These characters, or avatars as they are called, and the character name become the identity of the player within the World of Warcraft environment. Generally, how World of Warcraft is played, players work together to complete certain goals in the game called quests. As players complete quests, they gain experience and attain higher levels within the game, which continually strengthen their avatar character, with the ultimate goal to reach level 85. It requires many hours of play and dedication to even reach level 85, and once the character is there, they are nowhere close to complete. Once the maximum level is reached, they have moved on to what is called endgame material. The largest part of endgame is known as raiding, where players form in groups of 10 or 25 players to take on difficult dungeons where bosses reside. Raids on the dungeon bosses take many hours of preparation and skill to even attempt for a takedown. Once a group successfully defeats a boss, they are awarded items they could use to better their character. Essentially, characters become very strong once they have acquired many powerful items, but there is no way to actually beat the game, only to get better. The title says exactly what the game is, a world. Within the game itself, there is a native language.
Oh, he needs those devout shoulders, isn't he a paladin?
Yeah, but that'll help him heal better. He'll have more mana.
Christ.
A set of social standards, hierarchies, an economy, and laws players must abide by. Something about this alternate reality draws millions of players into it every day and keeps them addicted to the endless gameplay that takes place within its environment. Marshall McLuhan predicted that humans would one day advance so far with technology that we would live our lives through simulation alone. In the case of World of Warcraft, it is a simulation of a completely farcical world in which characters fly around on dragons and use magical powers to defeat enemies. But what is it exactly that draws so many people to the game every day?
Right at the beginning for me, it was always playing with friends. I always and that's still the only reason I really play, is to play with people. It was really fun to interact with these guys completely around the world. We've got friends everywhere now.
I would say the replayability of it, because there's a bunch of different classes and a bunch of different types of people that you can roll or play with, and it's just, there's a lot of variability in the game.
There's a lot of things. I love questing. It's like rewarding, kind of. Leveling up is pretty cool.
This addicting and extremely time-consuming lifestyle certainly has some negative effects on players, even if they do not realize it at the time.
I had a girlfriend at the time when I played WoW. She didn't appreciate it because I had spent so much time playing it. So it affected my relationships a lot. It never really affected my life that bad, but health-wise, it could have. I mean, I would sit there for hours not moving my body, just sitting there looking at a screen.
The most hours I probably spent in a week in my prime was probably about 14 hours a day or something like that, times 7, or maybe even less. But a very good portion of my time is spent.
Certain players have even missed out on the opportunity of real-life social interaction to just stay in and play the game instead.
I definitely missed, we would stay in instead of going out. We would have parties at my house, Warcraft parties, and just stay in, and we wouldn't go, my friends would be throwing a party at their house. We'd say, no, we want to play WoW. It was pretty addicting at the time. We were actually all pretty addicted. I knew I missed a family reunion once because we had this pretty, this raid going on, so I actually didn't go to this family event because of Warcraft, so.
However, playing the game is still considered social interaction, even if players never see each other's faces.
You make a lot of friends on there too. It's funny how many friends I've never met in real life that I have met legitimately through World of Warcraft.
They're just as cool, yeah. I mean, when that happens, they are just as legitimate friends as meeting at a school or their work. I mean, it's no different than
you've experienced stuff together. It's
just completely different, but it's the same. I mean, I think it's really cool in that respect.
Yeah.
You get to talk on this program called Vent to people with these crazy Chinese and Japanese accents, and they're from Europe and stuff, and Russia, and it's pretty cool to meet these people over World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft and other virtual realities like it become a drug to those who get drawn into their lifestyle.
There's actually online detox programs that people go through because they're so addicted to World of Warcraft that they go through these programs to cancel their addiction.
It's funny the number of times you think you're done too, where you're like, all right, enough, and then you're like, a month later.
You'll be back, don't worry. Anybody who quits WoW doesn't actually quit WoW.
Something is missing in their everyday routine that encourages them to use World of Warcraft as an escape from reality and take on the identity of a mythological hero.
Because they get to be this avatar in this virtual world, and people they're socially awkward. They have problems meeting people sometimes. In this game, everyone has a medium where they can meet at and converse and have something that's they're in common with. So that's why I think people can adapt or get connected to this game so much, because it's their life inside this what they want it to be inside this virtual world.
It would seem that simulations like World of Warcraft are just the tip of the iceberg in terms of virtual gaming and online identities. These types of games have just begun being created, and there's potential for expansion. But where is this type of technology going?
It's undeniable as a phenomenon.
It's a lifelong cycle. Until the servers are shut down, that's when you quit WoW. Many people will probably commit suicide that day because they're going to not like that. It will not be a good day.
It's not something that's going away.
It is beginning to advance so far that eventually reality may be indistinguishable from surreality.
It's the vastness of mythology and everything in the game is pretty much, it's like real life. It's clearly you couldn't be a pilot right now, just sitting here. But I mean,
you could go off and devote your life to being the pilot right now.
Exactly. I guess if you wanted to, but it's just like real life. It's oh man, you can kind of pursue whatever you want. But obviously in the game it's a lot easier because it's already there for you. Because you can't magically just have magic powers like throwing fireball.
It's almost as complex as real life, but then at the same time you realize that you're just sitting at a computer. You just kind of take a reality check every once in a while. Just be like, oh yeah, wait, I'm actually playing a game right now.
The increasing immersion of the human sensorium is beginning to make these computer-generated worlds more believable as an escape from reality. As these technologies begin to progress, it is hard to ignore the World of Warcraft phenomenon taking place in schools, offices, and households around the world.